Hi everybody, Ellen here. Today I come to you guys with my March TBR, and this time around I'm going to try to get a start on some series that I have wanted to start for a long time. I'm going to try to finish a series. I'm going to try to continue reading books that I picked up, read a couple of pages and then put down, and shit is about to happen. But yeah, I have 5 books I want to read in the month of March, and I'll let you know what those are. The first one being The Way of Kings, Part 1 by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in the Stormlight Archives. This is actually the first half of the first book, since this is Part 1. I also do own Part 2. But I want to get started on this series because I've been wanting to read it for such a long time, and now when I've started to wrap up a lot of the other books from the series I have started by Brandon Sanderson, I feel like now is the time to start a new series by him, and I'm in love with these covers, especially this one because it looks so cool. So I don't really know a lot about these books, we're just gonna read from the back. But it says, it has been centuries since the fall of the 10 consecrated orders known as the Knight Radiant, but their shard blades and shard plate remain. Mystical swords and suits of armor that transforms ordinary men into near invisible warriors. Men trade kingdoms for shard blades. Wars were fought for them, won by them. One such war is about to swallow up a soldier, a bright lord, and a young woman scholar. So it sounds really cool, and I do love his books usually, so I'm really looking forward to this one. And then I'm going to try to read Seed of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare. This is the 4th book in the Mortal Instruments. I have listened to the audiobooks, book 1 to 3, and also Clockwork Angel, re-listening to them because I've actually read the physical copies of them a few times, but I never made it past this book. I've read like the first maybe 10 pages at one point, but now we're just going to get the move on. I want to finish this series this year, so yeah, I'm going to try to read this one. It's not that thick, it's like 430 pages or something like that, and I really do love the Shadowhunter world and the characters and everything like that, so I really look forward to reading this one and finding out what the hell is going to happen, because the 3rd book is really kick-ass and cool, and how are we going to follow up that one. Now we have another book that I've started at one point, and that is Everless by Sarah Holland. I'm actually on page 16, so I'm not very far along. I started reading this book like, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, and then for some reason I didn't continue on with it, but I do like the premise of it, because in this one, time is actually money. The more time you have, the more riches you do have. And we meet this character called Jules, and she and her father are really poor. They don't have a lot of time, and her father is actually sick, and Jules has to trade her time to be able to pay for his medicines and rent and stuff like that, and they don't really know how to stay alive long enough to get the next time. So she actually takes on this job at this palace, and shit goes down. And of the 16 pages I read a really long time ago, I do remember really liking the premise and the characters so far. I mean, I don't have a lot of pages to actually base my opinions on, but I did like it so far, so I need to pick it up because book 2 has been out for quite some time, and I want to continue on with it, and if I like it, move on to book 2. I have another series I want to finish, and this is A Million Worlds with You by Claudia Gray. This is the 3rd and final book in the Firebird trilogy. I do really like the first 2 books because I read them and loved them, and I want to continue on with this. And also this cover is so gorgeous, and the entire series are. But in this one we meet this girl named Margaret, and her parents are actually these sort of scientists, and they invent this thing called Firebird. And with this Firebird you can actually travel through sort of different dimensions. So for example, Margaret actually exists in all of the worlds, but she's really different in all of them and lives through different times, and personality is not the same and everything like that, but using the Firebird you can actually jump from one dimension into the next one, and you sort of take over that version of Margaret, if you will. But Margaret's dad is actually killed, and it's actually this assistant named Paul that I think did it, and he ends up taking one of the Firebirds, jumping through a different dimension, and Margaret goes after him, trying to track him down because she wants him to be punished for what she did to her father. And I really did enjoy the first 2 books. They're really cool. I love the different dimensions because they're so different, and it was so cool. And I want to know what happens, and I don't know. I haven't picked this one up yet, but I definitely want to do it now. And then we come to the last book I was planning to talk about today, and that is Mörk Ängel by Laini Taylor. This is the first book in Önskemånglarnas dotter, and I've had this book for like 2, maybe 3 years now. I don't know. I bought it at some sale for really cheap, and I have the other 2 books as well because, you know, sale. But I did start reading this one for a try chapter tag a really long time ago, and I read the first chapter, so I read the first 10 pages, and I feel like those 10 pages didn't really give me a lot of substance to go off of, so I don't really have that many opinions on it. But I mean, it sounds like a cool premise, and I just want to read it, and I want to finish the trilogy because I've had it for such a long time, and I'm gonna do it. So in this one we meet Mokaro, and she actually sort of draws a lot, and there happens to be monsters, and some of them might be real, some of them might not be, and and Mokaro actually very often disappears on different mystical errands, and nobody really knows where she goes off to. She speaks a lot of different languages. Some of them may not be human, and she has naturally blue hair, and she doesn't really know who she is or where she comes from and everything like that. So it's sort of her life's mission to try to figure that out. And then we also meet Akiva, and she's on the run. She ends up in this fight between angels and demons. So I mean, the back doesn't really give a lot, but I feel like that's not usually the case with Laini Taylor books. I did read Strange to Dream by her, loved it, and I want to read more by her, so I'm going to continue on off of those 10 pages. So yeah, those are the 5 books I want to read in the month of March. What are your reading plans for March? Have you any specific books that you want to read? Please let me know down below what those are in that case. And also, if you have read any of these books I mentioned, please let me know down in the comments what you thought about them, without spoiling of course. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give me some thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the little button down below. And yeah, I hope we see each other in the next one. Bye!